Andy Ruiz says he would be more comfortable with the Joshua rematch being in the US, which is unsurprising. And this has led to speculation by some, and obviously Andy Ruiz has also started saying, I'm the A side and, this, that, and the other. And this has led to some speculating that maybe he can dig his heels in and prevent the rematch from being in the UK. Now, Eddie Hearn has come out in several interviews and shut down all these rumors and all this speculation and said, well, it's very black and white. The contract clearly stipulates that we have the absolute say on where the rematch is going to be, and Andy Ruiz and his team have no say whatsoever. And if they were to violate the contract, then they would open themselves to, in this particular interview, Eddie Hearn called it a ring of danger. And that it would get very messy from a legal standpoint, that Ruiz, not only himself, but anybody involved with him, including broadcasters, advisors, promoters, etc., would open themselves up to legal action. So he's made it very clear and unambiguous. Now, the fact that he's gone public in saying this, because before he wasn't saying it as unambiguously as he is now. He was kind of being all corporate and diplomatic and not just coming straight out and talking about legal action. The fact that he is now saying it would get messy and people would get sued and Ruiz would be out the ring for a long time because, violating the contract. Is this indicative of something going on behind the scenes which Eddie Hearn is not telling us? Is this a way of trying to send a warning to Team Ruiz? Like, don't get any bright ideas. Is that what this is? Or is it simply because Hearn is being asked the same question by journalists over and over and over and over and over again? Why haven't you announced the signing of the rematch? Why is there all this hold up? What's going on? Have Team Ruiz decided to dig their heels in and not go to the UK? Do they have the power to be able to do that? Maybe he's just got sick of those questions being asked over and over again. And so now he's just come out and said, look, we'd sue them if they tried to do that. And that's that. Or, as I say, is it because they really are digging their heels in? So he has to, tighten the noose a little bit. Send a warning shot to Team Ruiz. Who knows? Hearn says that Team Ruiz will be notified this week about the location of the rematch, whether it's going to be in the UK, the United States, or some other country. So we'll see what happens here. But I really don't understand the mentality of some people who are saying that. I mean, look here. You've got 103 people putting a thumbs down on this video. So not quite half, but over a third of people who have rated this video have put a thumbs down on it because Eddie Hearn's threatening legal action against Team Ruiz if they try and violate the contract. I mean, what on earth are people smoking when they have a problem with what Eddie Hearn is doing here? What are people smoking? He didn't force Ruiz into any kind of contract. He didn't force Ruiz into taking terms that he wasn't happy with. They negotiated the contract to fight Anthony Joshua the first time. Anthony Joshua gave Ruiz a golden opportunity. That's what Eddie Hearn and AJ gave Ruiz. They gave him his career high payday. Have you seen all the things Ruiz has been buying with the money that Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua paid him? They did Ruiz a favor. It was a voluntary defense. You don't see Deontay Wilder going to the UK and giving Dylan White a voluntary shot in White's backyard. That is the equivalent of what Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn did. I mean, Deontay Wilder could come to the UK if he wanted to do what Anthony Joshua did in fighting Ruiz. He could come to the UK, fight Dylan White on ITV box office, since Al Heyman has got an association with ITV now in PBC. Fight Dylan White on ITV box office in a voluntary defense. He would never do that. He's never done that. But that's what AJ did with Ruiz. Went over to his country. Gave him the biggest payday of his life. Changed his life forever. He didn't have to give him that opportunity. He chose to. They negotiated a contract. He knew what he was signing in the contract. There was no hidden terms. But now some people are acting as though it's terrible that Eddie Hearn is dictating the location of the rematch, or AJ is dictating. How is it terrible? They fought the guy in his home country first time around. What's the problem with going to their home country for the rematch? You can only imagine that it's just people who hate Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua and have no ability to be objective. As Boxing Beats and Rhymes pointed out, and I spoke about in a previous video, when Sugar Ray Robinson, who is regarded by many as the greatest fighter of all time, when he lost to Randolph Turpin, a British fighter, in the UK, he didn't have the rematch in the UK. They had the rematch in New York, in the United States. So if it's good enough for Sugar Ray Robinson to have the rematch in his own backyard, why is it not good enough for Anthony Joshua? Again, Anthony Joshua did something which Deontay Wilder is not willing to do. Fight a top contender in the top contender's backyard in a voluntary defense. You don't see Deontay Wilder doing that. And Deontay Wilder could have had his career high payday fighting Dylan White in the UK. Facts. He was offered that fight on multiple occasions. Career high payday. Fight White in the UK. In fact, you can fight White in America. Either or. So it's even worse. Deontay Wilder turning that fight down several times because he was offered it in America or in the UK. Man's turning it down. Joke business. And to be fair, I can't remember if they actually gave Wilder a formal offer to fight White in the US, but White certainly came out and said he'd be willing to fight Deontay Wilder in the US. He said that publicly. But be that as it may, we know Wilder has never been willing to do what AJ did in the first place and fight a top contender in their backyard in a voluntary defense. He's never done it. But somehow AJ and Eddie Hearn are the bad guys for wanting the rematch back home. I mean, it's incredible to me. The bias of so many boxing fans is just remarkable. If Deontay Wilder had come to the UK, fought Dylan White, and then somehow lost in a voluntary defense, I would have absolutely no problem whatsoever with Deontay Wilder fighting the rematch back in the US. I'll be saying the exact same thing. I'll be saying, look, Wilder didn't have to come to the UK in the first place. Like, let's be fair. He didn't have to fight Dylan White in a voluntary defense. So now that he's lost and he wants the rematch in the US, I can't hate on that. That's fair enough. White agreed to it in the contract. There's nothing to argue about because I'm objective with it. But these unbelievably biased individuals are criticizing Hearn and Joshua. More so Hearn, because apparently, according to Hearn, AJ don't care where the rematch is. But they're criticizing Hearn for wanting to fight in the UK. It's ridiculous, and it just shows how biased people are. They do not have the ability to be objective. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What's happening about. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.